Hey guys, welcome to Black Belt Breakdown. This is part 2 of the breakdowns with Jeff Lawson from Polaris. This match in particular against Andy Roberts from Andy Roberts Jiu-Jitsu and also Tactical Jiu-Jitsu is from Polaris 10. I want to say thanks to Polaris for letting me use the footage. The first breakdown with Jeff got over 1,000 views in less than 3 days, which makes it the fastest watch video I've made. So thank you to everyone who liked it and subscribed. If you enjoy this one, please make sure you like it as well and share it and subscribe. The more likes we get, the higher up we go in the YouTube algorithm, and then more people can watch. This week I have got a breakdown coming with at least one Australian superstar. I'm really looking forward to the match that we're going to break down. So, guys, please make sure again that you like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. So, this was from Polaris 10.
Yeah.
Prelims of Polaris 10. And this got match of the prelims, was it? Fight of the prelims, this, wasn't it? Or was it fight of the night?
Yeah. Well, they're not allowed to. I don't think they're allowed to put a prelims match to fight of the night.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But
I don't think they're allowed to.
All right, so you got to say perhaps Andy Roberts, who's in the
full
guard quickly, but
so there. So sporting the beard there.
Yes. So there's the same stance. Left leg forward. Left jab first. Okay. That was nothing. So again, that's just a strong stance. Andy's taken a leap of faith there, I think, to a guard pull. Incidentally, what he has done there is he gave me a really good couple of grips with which to move his body.
Okay.
So I've got this traditional sort of elbow grip and a collar grip there to wind him over. Now, going back to the last video, watch this. This is exactly the same. Ready?
Yeah. So
as we go down, and he's moving towards me, which is always good. Always, if anyone's fighting me, always move towards me on the feet. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so yeah, keep moving. Right, so Andy's pulled half guard here, which is a very good strategy if you are going to fight me. Pulling half guard is, if I miss this initial sequence, which you'll see now, pulling half guard's a good strategy. So now, Andy's pulled half guard. I notice his foot is in front of my foot for almost like a shin on shin here. That really enables me to get my sort of floating Sao Paulo fighting for the underhook to go. Ready? You watch this. So again, I do the same as I did last time. Nice and slow. Ready? There. Okay, so look, exactly the same. It's exactly the same because it's so drilled and ingrained. Is the pass with the underhook. But both times I haven't flattened them. What I've let them do is let them roll, continue their roll, which is exactly what Andy's done there. So if you go back, exactly the same move. I think I've even got that collar grip.
Yeah. There's the grip there.
Yeah. I can't quite see. Is that on the collar?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's on the collar. So I've got that on the collar. And then, look, there's the knee slice. There. And I've got the underhook. Here comes the pull on the tricep.
Yeah, so we go up.
And there's the step. You see Andy's on his side now, which is a perfect position. I would have gone straight for the armbar there. But Andy's really defended. And you see what he's really intelligently done is lift his hips.
Yeah.
So he's prevented me from getting that armbar position, which is, you know, he can roll onto his front here, which I think he probably wanted to do.
He's essentially doing the defense before the sort of short armbar has even been set up, isn't he?
Yeah, he was, and that just shows what an intelligent fighter he is, because he's done that in all of a split second. Okay. So looking here. So stop it there. So there's two things I've done here. With my hands, you can't see it at the moment, I'm doing a traditional tie off that I learned from judo when I was like 12 years old, probably. Tying up the skirt, feeding the skirt into over their defending arm into my own, so that would be into my right hand.
So
again,
essentially doing a Kimura grip, but with the bottom of the skirt of the gi.
Yeah, that's it. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So now, we're in an absolute dick move here. I could have been an absolute dick and continued to straighten my legs, which I do for a little bit, and then I just wasn't happy with it, so I didn't do it. But I kept the grip. So move it on. So I got a nice strong grip there. I'm really comfortable in this position. I straighten it for a second, and then no, I'm not having none of that. So now, a little sequence happens here. So I think I get on, sit on his head, onto my knees. And again, this is showing Andy's, you know, intelligence as a fighter. This rarely happens to me when I do this. He breaks my grip in this position by throwing his right shoulder to the mat. And that ruins the whole position for me. So we can move it on. So up, I try and move it around a bit. It goes here. I'm sure he throws it back down. Yeah, there you go. So that ruins it for me. There you go. That ruins it for me completely. So now I have to transition into Yoko Shio Gatame, which is side control. Okay, so now I'm catching my breath. I'm blocking his hip with my knee, and I've got a deep collar grip. At this moment here, I'm thinking like a baseball bat choke or something like that. But I'm keeping him down, I'm keeping my head down just to keep the weight on, catching my breath after that busy initial sequence. Move in. Good. Here comes the back take. Okay. I think Andy stops. Yeah, he stops that hook from getting completely in. I'm trying to shrimp out in this position. Again, you know, Andy's defense is really, really good. Interestingly, if you go back up here. Now, if Andy hadn't have raised his hips up quite so high here, I would have continued through again and done that left side over his right side knee slice. That's what I was aiming for in this position. Okay, again, he's got Andy's holding my my left knee, which is again so intelligent on the defense. Now I look at it. Okay, you can move it forward now because he's stopped
doing
me.
it to keep your leg higher than your hip so that you can't sit over, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. And he's done an absolutely brilliant job. Good. Now, this position here, I have in the gym, I've got a good success rate of finishing that choke in the gym like that. It's really, really nice. But I didn't quite get it set in. At the moment now, you see here, I'm trying to get it set in. So I'm to the side of him and it's my wrist in his neck. But I just cannot get to that position to work it very well.
Okay.
Defense from Andy again. And there you go. That's my game gone from that position. Now, what I am comfortable with is being mounted. I've got a few unorthodox escapes from mount, and a new one from this position actually, which I didn't get to use in this match. But I'm very comfortable here with whatever they're doing. You know, everybody knows that doesn't work from there. It's just a setup for something else. So again, like I say, I'm very comfortable in this position. Even when I think he does get full mount here. Had Andy have got that sort of S mount there, that would have been a different story. But he pushes through, I think, for normal mount. I've got the court guard who he's got 3/4 mount. Head pressure, there we go. There's a little bit of body work there. And that's given me a lot of space. But again, Andy crushes me back down into there. And now this has given me, I don't know if I keep that actually, but can you see that I've gone for the belt?
Mm-hmm.
That gives me really good control of their torso, and especially see, I think I have got the underhook. Oh no, the overhook. So initially, right, this is how I finished the fight. Okay, this grip is how I finished the fight, but I don't think I keep this grip at the moment. I think Andy flattens me down. Again, this is one of my unorthodox escapes from here. If I hold that and I stop Andy's left arm and I bridge, I can roll out of mount with this, which is quite sort of unorthodox, really. But this time it doesn't work. I just do a normal shrimp. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Again, Andy's done a great job of flattening me down, isolating my arm. All these things that I'm doing here aren't really working. So I have to go back to the traditional hip escape in a moment. Again, this doesn't work. Andy does a good job of squashing my face. And I just have to work. Never underestimate the power of shrimping. It bloody works. Okay, so now, I briefly would have gone for a telephone armbar there, but it wasn't close. It wasn't even tight. So I just made the grip as uncomfortable as I possibly could. So in this position here, ready. So you see I've clasped my hands there, and he's made the mistake of putting his hand down on the mat. He pulls it out straight away. He knows the game. He knows what's going on. As you can see. So here, made that a little bit painful. He's pulled the hands back. And now we both get a good rest. I'm in full guard as we move back. A good thing to say here is Andy absolutely brought this fight to me. It was brilliant. You know, there wasn't one bit where either of us took it easy. Okay, so back in close guard. I'll be honest, my close guard is absolutely terrible, as you can see. But now, what's happened here is I'm in the knee shield position. I think this is the position. I can't quite remember. What's the time on there? What's the time?
5:56.
Yeah. I think so. Now, this is when I will look for my belt control. So in a moment, I'm sure. Yeah, definitely. So as we kick out here, okay, I've got nothing on Andy's arm there. He's got nothing. He's not in any danger. I've got a cross collar grip there. Now I'm waiting for Andy to press his body down into me. Here we go. Now you see he's worked for that underhook. Now I've got my belt grip. Okay, so this is the important thing. This is one of my sort of moves that I would do, and I'll explain the two different types. So this one here is I've got my armpit on Andy's shoulder, and I'm blocking his dominant grip. His dominant grip's the underhook, right? His dominant arm position here. Mm-hmm. He's got with his right arm is an underhook. Okay. Now, what he's failed to do is keep my hips down flat. If he kept my hips down flat, this would be a lot more work for me to do. It wouldn't be impossible, but a lot more work, and you'll see why in a moment. So at this point, I've got my left grip over the top on the belt, which is controlling his lower torso, essentially his hips. He's going for a traditional Sao Paulo there. He's got the head pressure on. He's stepped wide. We're in half guard. Now, if you move it along a little bit further, I get my left knee out and sneak the butterfly in.
Okay.
As Andy comes round even more for the pass. A little bit further, a little bit further. There we go. So there's my butterfly in there. You see?
Mm-hmm.
So what Andy's done is he's tried to bait me into going that he's passing on the right side of my body. He's tried to jump over to the left, and at that point he's jumped into where I want him. He's made it even easier for me.
You've got the belt grip here.
Yes.
This is at the elbow, I'm guessing, or sort of around the biceps.
Yeah, that's just blocking his arm.
Okay, so that's just a block right now.
That's just a block. That comes into play in a moment.
Okay.
And now you can see my foot as soon as he lands. There we go. Good. Okay, so now hold it here. Right, this is where I do it slightly differently to a few other people. We had with absolutely no comparison, right, to us, but we had Adam Warzinski to do a seminar, and he does a version of this, which is very, very. It looks very similar to this version, but I do the lazy one. He does the athletic one. My lazy one is from the back. His athletic one is sitting up.
Okay.
Okay, and they're the two differences. So I'm happy to be in half guard, flattened down underneath, and I don't have to use so much strength, and I don't have to use so much energy. Whereas Adam Warzinski is an absolute machine. He would have to use, he uses his attributes very, very well, and he does a very, very similar in the gi sweep to this. Okay, now in this position here, notice that I'm slightly on my right hip, and also as well is I've created, my arm is bent there. There's a lot of pressure from my foot up into my hand, my elbow, and my shoulder. So the arm on its own is pulling. I'm pulling Andy's belt towards his shoulders, okay? That direction, that's it. Good. Now my butterfly is pushing up, but not lifting. Okay, so my knee is lifting, not my foot.
Yeah, it's active.
Yeah. So there's a clamp. So that whole circle there is a clamp. That's the clamp. Okay, there and there. There's also a separate clamp going on with my shoulder, armpit, and Andy's head. So that, which we did earlier with that pull up. So there you can, as long as you can keep an isometric hold there on those bits, that side of your body, the rest of it's easy. Okay, which you'll see now. Which you'll see me fail at. Okay, so as you move forward, Andy's only got one way to go here. He's not jumping my leg because I've kept him down. Okay, now you see my leg at the moment, it's my right leg is hooked over Andy's leg. Nothing can happen here until I release that leg. Okay, there's nothing that I can do really, and Andy can only windscreen wiper out of that, which I think I either let it go or I think I let it go. So that's what I need to do next. Okay, I need to let that go. So if Andy keeps that, we're stalemate. I'm not rolling him, he's not rolling me. I need to clear. Oh, I forgot that bit. But don't worry, I put it back in. So at the moment, Andy's flattening. Again, I'll reposition. I think you'll have to move it forward a bit.
The thing that really interests me, I'm just going to pause it a second, and it's the reason I took up judo. Yeah. And one of the things that one of the mindsets that I sort of took on was that I struggled to get grips and throw. But I figured out pretty quickly that when I'm on the floor, I can get whatever grips I want. This is easy. Nobody grip fights on the floor, really. Or say nobody, but there's a much lower level of grip fighting on the floor
hmm
within like a half guard or something like that than there is
Yeah.
stood up.
Yeah, there
And
really is.
I figured that I could sit down and the person would essentially give me the grips that I'd need if I was stood up.
Yeah.
So I would do that. I would sit down, get the grips that I need, and then I would just stand up as fast as I could and I'd get throws.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that seems to be what you're doing. Nobody wants a judoka to have an over-the-top grip on the belt, which is exactly what you have.
Hmm.
And
Well, I don't normally throw with that. I haven't thrown with that since I was a kid. That's a really easy way of throwing someone. Grab the belt, Harai Goshi, Ogoshi sort of thing. That's a really good early successful throwing thing. But as you progress, like you said, and it works the same for judo, is judo players aren't going to let you get their belt. You know, they're going to keep you away. They're going to stiff arm, cross body. They're going to keep you away from their belt. And that tactic you've just said would work really, really well.
it does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. Well done. Never thought of that. Okay.
The thing that I do is I take something. I'm pretty good at taking a meta and breaking it down into micro.
Okay.
So and like reverse engineering things. So with it, like if I want to learn gripping, so I originally wanted to learn judo for the gripping patterns because I figured that it's the same reason why I go for a lot of wrist locks from my close guard.
Okay.
And from on top, whenever I'm in a close guard, I'll go for wrist locks if there's connection because it puts a degree of fear to not every time I try and grip him, he tries to wrist lock me.
Mm-hmm.
So I couldn't necessarily do that stood up, but I did realize, or I sort of figured out that if you control grappling starts with gripped. So if we're not gripping, it wouldn't matter if you were the other side of the room or where you are now. We're not grappling. The moment we connect with a grip, now we're grappling, and if I can dominate that, the rest should be far easier.
Yeah.
Which was why I took up judo, which is why this is such a dominating grip because you can't fight it now.
Yeah, it's really difficult for him to fight. The only real good thing is if he passed to mount and controlled my sort of tricep area, then I'd be in danger. Then I'd have to get that round, you know, that would be a problem. But that would only depend on if they're stronger than you. If your grip's strong there, they're not going to armbar you with that position. So it just depends on strength, I think, comes down to on that one. Okay, so at the moment, here, in this position here, Andy's doing the correct thing to pass me. Okay, I don't know why he stops. His head's in the right position, his left arm is in the right position, and his right arm is in the right position. These are very strong positions. Okay, if he would have continued through there, he probably would have passed back to mount, but he doesn't. What happens is, I think he moves his knee and he moves his head and he moves his left arm. So if we move forward. There you go. So he's let go of my leg. And now he's, okay, now stop. So here, again, he's gone back to his initial passing position, which he tried on me, that tripod position. So now he's given me wrist control on his left hand. I've still got the belt control, and now I can begin to set up my butterfly belt clamp, which I do. So in this initial bit, my hips are coming out. Ready?
Do you have his hand under his own hips?
I think he's trying to hold my knee, which is perfect. Okay, butterfly in. There's my clamp again. See, it's a lazy clamp. I'm on my side, which is probably why Adam Warzinski does the sit-up one, because it forces them backwards. Whereas this one, it's still dangerous because Andy's still in a very strong passing position here. I've got my butterfly clamp. I've got my head in the right position and my shoulder in the right position. He's passing to my right. He's off balance. I elevate. No, I don't. On the next bit. Massive pull. He's off balance. Okay, and there we go. And I didn't quite follow over, but pause it. I keep my grips. I keep my belt grip and my my left knee would now be in sort of on the ground for a sort of sprawl position. And he's strong. He's pushing me up. So basically, Andy's in a wonderful position here to double leg me. Okay, I think the mistake that he's made here as he hasn't tried to step backwards as he lifts me up, because he's done all the lifting there, not me. He's got me into that position. But now, to make this takedown effective, what he needed to do was take a half semicircle step back on his right leg
And
to make that successful. Okay,
can you over into this gap?
Yeah, that's what he needed to do to make that work. Instead, what he's done is he's just carried on up to his feet. Now, as he's done that, you may or may not know this, but the perfect time to catch someone with a judo throw, and this is the bit that people miss, I think it is when they're getting back to their feet. Not when they're already up, not when they're in between. It's when they're it is in between. It's when they're getting back up to their feet. That's the best time to catch someone with a throw.
Rodolfo Vieira does it really well.
Yeah.
Really well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Janji used to.
Yes.
We go for it. He'd like snap down off the collars, and then as they were standing up, he'd shoot under.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. That's the best time to catch him. So it's not really single techniques. It's waiting for that opportunity to hit a really good technique. If anyone's, thinking of adding this into their arsenal, this is not the best arm and head position. His head should be on my chest. For this to be really effective, it should be on my chest. Okay, so with jiu-jitsu, and if I continued through as a judo player, I continued through on that, and he would be on my back. Okay, now this is another fundamental thing about transitioning your judo over to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, is there's a balance point. And when they go past that balance point, don't lose control of them, but you have to sort of let them go, to let them land and then follow their landing. Not continue like the judo players do. And we've all seen it, when they throw someone, they roll over and they continue over. That's where that's where judo players come unstuck in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or other grappling matches, is they get their big throw and they continue with what they've trained to do, is their full body weight goes through the throw and they don't land the throw and transition the throw because they're expecting the win straight away. Now, if you see here, Andy's head's in the wrong position for me. It's not in the wrong position for me to throw, but if I continued with that grip, he'd have my back. So I let go. Ready? You go through. Now, the belt's gone, you see? Mm-hmm. I've let go of the belt because I knew the moment that he hit. My position from the throw hasn't changed much. Andy's position has changed dramatically. Here and here, nice and slow. That's the throw. So Andy's forward pressure gives me that. Now, as soon as he hits, look, I'm still on my feet. That's the important thing, is staying on your feet and knowing. See here? There, that's it. That's what we need. That. See my grips come out? Because I knew that if I'd kept that grip, he would just be able to move his right arm over onto my back, and that would have been it. Down in side control. Back to a bit of knee on belly. And I'm looking for the choke there. Just to clear Andy's hands out of the way. It's not something I'd ever finish a fight with there, but it transitions nicely. Back to a bit of side control. Incidentally, I was really pleased with that side control. That was a lot of chin pressure they put in there.
Yeah. Yeah, if ever you wanted control of the end of the lever, that does it.
Yeah, it's good, and I do like that style of control as well. Always looking for the underhook. There it is. Andy knows what's coming. He's not stupid.
Yeah.
Again, there's a lot going on in this match. A lot going on. Once again, Andy doesn't stand up this time. Again, I was feeling a nice big Uchimata there, but he didn't stand up. He's gone for a more safe half guard game, which is fair, which is understandable. Okay, so I think I try and move into mount here, but Andy's balance is great, and he moves me back into a. We move back into a guard position, I think. So here's the omoplata. So again, this is something I use a lot, this omoplata. And now from this position, what I was really aiming for was a T-plata there. I was trying to get that foot. You see Andy's right hand is holding my left foot. I wanted to get that under Andy's armpit, and then I'd be looking for his left foot just to straighten him out and go for the T-plata position. Yeah. So that's what I was going for there. But now Andy's done a really, really good defense in this position. So as we continue on, he jumps clean over me, which I did not expect him to do. So again, Andy's defense is absolutely fantastic. So he's posted, spun on the head like here. Now, I knew in this position he was flattening me down. So what I've done is I've blocked his upper body with my left arm, okay, which has given me space to get with my right arm, sorry. So I've blocked his upper body with my right arm, and that's given me space to drag my hips underneath and free my left leg. Otherwise, Andy could have flattened me back down the side control there. So if you go half speed or something there, you see as I've got his back, not his back, I've been able to climb out, you see?
Yeah.
And from here, the transition to back control is easy. I had two options, step over or drag the hips down. And he's a bit too good for dragging the hips down, so I put a quick hook in over the top. And there it is. Good. So now, this isn't a good position for Andy. Ideally, I would have kept him completely flat, but I don't think I had the left arm in an underhook. No, I didn't. No, the right arm in an underhook, as you can see. At this point, I needed a break just to catch my breath back. And I needed some neck. I wanted some neck to choke, which I couldn't do with Andy's gear over his head. Okay, so Andy's doing a good job. He's transitioned here onto his watch. So I'm going for Andy's neck. Okay, Andy's defending the neck. So now what he's given me with my left hand over to his knee, the isolation of an overhook armbar, which is what I would have gone for had he not defended it so well. So you'll see here, as he transitions down to his right hip, look, now I've got that overhook sort of Kron Gracie armbar position, what Kron did to Gary Tonin, didn't he?
Yeah.
And now in this position here, and he's blocking my legs quite successfully. And I think I lose that grip. Let's move it on. Oh, no, I didn't. I kept it. Okay, so that's it. Leave it there. So now, at this point here, the only thing that my left arm is doing is keeping his arm away from his body. Okay, so that's just keeping it away from his body. The closer his arm gets to his body, the harder it is to break. Now, if I hadn't have had my left arm in there, there's no way I would have been able to put his hands apart like I do in this position. Now, as I pull those arms apart, I've got that sort of nice sort of S-mount, technical mount position on him here. Okay. As I pull those arms apart, that gives me, going back to what I said before, is always pulling that arm when you're moving. So as I throw my leg around his head, his fingers are already separate and I'm in position, I think. Ready? Here we go. I'm in position. Now there's a little bit of hand moving around here because I've had to release my left arm because it was no longer serving me any purpose underneath there. And he's defending behind his knee, which isn't the best defense. Incidentally, he's grabbed his leg. You see my head is towards his knee. That helps separate it from there. So now my job here is to look at how my feet are crossed. Okay. That's the only way, unless I do it later. I don't think I do. I always have to have my legs, if I ever do cross them, this way, because that frees me up to keep the head control.
Yeah, you can
now
up and stuff.
Yeah. So now I want to keep him here really, because what I want to do is hold him in this position and just force his head down. With my head being in this position, it kind of works. I think Andy works his way out of this though. So if in this position here, ideally what needs to happen is I need to force my right leg into Andy's face to pull his hand away from his leg. That's when my head's in that position, but I think I have to completely switch to the other side. Here. Yeah, so complete switch to the other side and the head. Ready? And that's it. Rocking towards the head. And that's it. So I've gone from one specific type of armbar position, which works very, very well. Again, Andy's intelligent defense was really, really good. I've had to completely switch controlling arm and head position to finish that arm lock.
So again, that was just a few seconds.
Yeah. So this here that would be my preferred position to finish the armbar in. The knee close. The thing I didn't have here is I didn't have my head close enough to his hips to finish him off in that position. Okay. But I've gone deep. You see, I went deep with my right arm there and that pinned it. That would normally be good enough.
And then there's a switch.
Okay. That switch happened because I think Andy's quite flexible there and I've let the grip go too long. And from here, he's pretty much flat. That stops that initial attack from working, which is why I've had to change to the sort of the head and strip through to the head. So there and there, there and there, over to the head. And that was it.
That was
traditional arm straightening.
Just like that.
Yeah, that was a really, really good match for me because Andy fought me all the way. You know, it was 50-50 and I was fortunate enough to capitalise on some of the outcomes from the scrambles that we had. It could have gone either way.
It was awesome. It was such a great match. Again,
it was good. I enjoyed it.
Honestly, mate, this was amazing. So, your gym is Ippon Gym in Bournemouth.
That's it.
Right? Yeah, and how do people get in? What's the website? And I mean, we'll link to it in the description.
Sweet. Yes, it's just ippongym.com. There's not a great deal of, internet sort of stuff we do on there. You're best off if you want to see what's going on is my Instagram, really. My Instagram, which is Mr. Ippon.
Mr. Ippon.
Or on Facebook, Jeff Lawson. But the gym, I just repost to the gym if it's sort of fitnessy, sort of martial art, jiu-jitsu stuff. That's the best way.
Okay, yeah. And after this, when all of the jiu-jitsu gym owners have watched this and are like, right, I need Jeff to come and teach at my gym, what would be the best way to get hold of you for that?
Yeah, just through social media. Yeah, get through social media. Facebook's the easiest one. Yeah.
Okay, and you also have an art page. Is that a page?
I do. Yeah, really. Yeah, so it's really _bad_art.
Perfect. And anyone else that you want to sort of shout out? Any sponsors or brands?
Yeah, great. Yeah. So I've been throughout my career, I've been sponsored by Tatami Fight Web, and they're great guys, and also scramblestuff.com. So I'm supported really, really well by both of those two fantastic jiu-jitsu brands, which most jiu-jitsu guys will know.
Incredible. I'll link to both of those in there.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Do you have any? I don't know if Tatami or Scramble do it. I know sometimes, but like affiliate codes or anything.
I don't know.
Okay, I would have stuck that in as well.
Awesome.
Yeah. Right,
great.
Jeff. Thank you very much, man. This
Cheers,
was
Paul.
amazing.
God, that was a lot.
That was amazing, honestly.
Yes.
I think there'll be a version that I put out, and then there'll be a version that I keep.
Okay, awesome. No problem, man.
So,
all right.
Take care, man. Thank you very much for your time.
No worries, Paul. Thank you.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.